Great to have you with us. Now, the ugly spectacle of coconut waste on the streets of many cities in Ghana may be over soon. That's because one young man has started a business that is turning coconut waste into relatively cheaper charcoal. His business, Zarco, is receiving support from the Ghana Climate Innovation Center, GCIC, and in our Climate Focus series this week, my colleague Justice Baidu visited the company in Dodoa in the Greater Accra region and sent us this report.
On the outskirts of the Dodoa township, a young man is scooping dry coconut shells from a heap he and his team have collected mainly from the streets of Accra. Their organization, Zarco, uses this waste from coconut shells to manufacture charcoal.
You notice there were a lot of coconut vendors in every corner of Accra, so you realize these guys are generating so much coconut waste on a daily basis. Is there anything that we could do, you could use them for?
Zarco is producing charcoal as an alternative source of fuel, not just to solve the problem of deadly smokes, but also solve challenges mainly from coconut waste.
It's compressed, very well processed. We take off almost every fiber in it, so it burns very cleanly with little to no smoke at all. Burns longer than regular charcoal, burns hotter than regular charcoal, extremely affordable as well.
Zarco is turning around what is a major problem into a solution.
I was a vulcanizer on the street, pumping tires. It's not easy. We stand in the sun, working, and
now, President Akufo-Addo has charged the newly engaged personnel of the Nation Builders Corps NAPCO to be minded of the amount of taxpayers' money that will be invested in them under the new employment program. The president reminded the beneficiaries that they will be required to work for every penny which will be paid them under the program in order not to court the anger of the taxpayer. The president was speaking as the outdooring of 100,000 beneficiaries who have successfully completed a 3-month training program in the fields of their modules.
I admonish our NAPCO trainees to be dutiful and productive in the areas you have been assigned. I urge you to demonstrate on a daily basis that you value knowledge as a basis for effective performance and productivity. You must show your professional credentials through timeliness and punctuality, and above all, live beyond reproach so you can discharge your responsibilities with efficiency, so that all, at the end of the day, can vouch for your integrity. Your performance will be monitored through an innovative mobile application, which will be deployed soon. NAPCO trainees must bear in mind the government is investing some 3 billion cedis of taxpayers' money into this program. Your monthly stipend of 700 Ghana cedis is not free money, and you must earn every peso of it through hard work and dedication, which I'm confident you will do. To the Ghanaian people, I say you will feel the presence and contribution of these 100,000 trainees in your towns and villages, your constituencies and districts, and in critical sectors of the economy. Work with them and believe that together we can build a progressive and prosperous nation, the equal of any on the face of the planet.
Meanwhile, questions bordering on the sustainability of the program remains unsatisfactorily answered. Speaking to me earlier on the Super Morning Show from the graduation grounds, Information Minister Designate Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah stated that government will depend on the consolidated fund to keep the program running.
What's the revenue line to fund this? Are we going to be spending 600 million every year?
The central budget of government.
Is there any specific line of revenue for this? Anything more specific?
We don't have a specific line for paying police or teachers, etc. It's the central budget. It's called the compensation for employees within the general public services. Here we have created a specific GOG budget line for this program, and the source of funding comes from the consolidated fund.
But for how long, Imani Africa Policy Think Tank has been raising similar concerns about the sustainability of this program. Let me share with you extracts of a statement it issued this morning. It captions it Imani Alert. I'm going to go straight to where they talk about economic viability, where it says, some have argued that it is erroneous to assess the economic viability of the proposed program given the social orientation and the possible intrinsic value to be accumulated over time. However, this is deceptive. Now, it says here, back of envelope computations indicates that the direct salary cost item alone under the program could reach some 840 million Ghana cedis per annum, equivalent to 2.1% of domestic tax revenue, including tax revenue from the petroleum sector for 2018. Clearly, to complete the first year execution of the program, an additional 240 million Ghana cedis will be required to cover up only the total salary payments due under the program. And you heard me there ask Kojo Nkrumah there and make a point that 600 million Ghana cedis had been budgeted for this. The point here is made that there is an excess of 240 million Ghana cedis, a cost that will be created as a result of this program. They go on to compare this 840 million Ghana cedis by their back of the envelope computations to a number of other sectors in the economy. All economic ministries currently cost us just shy of 500, some 489,488,000 Ghana cedis. There's also all social sectors, which cost 9,953,725,000. And then it goes on to list a number of other sectors, which this costs a little less or a little more than. It concludes by saying that it will be strange but not out of the ordinary if the designers of the program, for instance, intend to inject nearly twice the compensation package of all the economic ministries into this program without expecting a significant return in terms of productivity for the foregoing year. So the argument here is made that, again, for ministries like energy and important economic ministries which will make us money, we are pumping twice into NAPCO when we don't know the productivity that will come out. That is where the questions of Imani Africa are raised. It's an Imani Alert that they issued just this morning in questions about the NAPCO program. We will be bringing you back to this story shortly, but CEO of Leroy Cables has called for gender balance in the recruitment and deployment of personnel under this very program. Speaking to my colleague Mama V. Oso Abwaje, earlier on News Desk, Madam Catherine Papafio said the number of women engaged under the various modules should be commensurate to their male counterparts.
We need more women in the industry. For instance, I'm saying that in my industry, if we talk about the only female in the industry of cable making, it makes it quite difficult. But we can take them and train them, because the industry, basically, we import everything, including even bulbs. We are talking about switches. We are talking about, various areas of power sector. So in the industry, what we need, I think, is for us to really train the young ones that are coming, for them to take up that why import if we can actually even assemble them here, by starting by even just bolts and nuts. We should all look at a comprehensive industrial need. There are things that you have to do. Well, I will say that, quite recently I was just thinking, it's like, listen, how many industries actually will say that they have nursery when it comes to that? Because you know that at the end of the day, once you employ more women, some of them will go on maternity leave, some of them will just... Have we actually thought about industries specifically to say that we have a nursery for nursery mothers? You know, instead of the person to actually be away for maybe 6 months, 3 months, in my industry, that's what happens. I'm thinking of why don't we just even start looking at putting up nursery in various institutions.
That's something that as CEO of Leroy, you are ready to invest in.
I'm ready to invest in. Most times, most women, when they are home, they feel so bored. After having the baby, they feel so bored. So some of them can say that, well, after 1 month, I would like to come to work. Why not? Once he knows that, well, at every 2 hours interval or every 3 hours interval, I can just go to the nursery to feed my baby. Of course, yes, she'll be more than happy to be at work. So some of the areas I think we are more than happy to actually invest in. So also train more women to be in the industries of men-dominated. Because what it is that once we look at, I mean, you cannot manufacture without power. We need the power. But also, we have to make sure that we are using it to the benefits, not only television, not only, I mean, movies, but also using it to produce for more job creation. When you look at it now, I would say that we haven't had any problem, except the power, the tariffs are a bit high when you look at industries.
That well said. Another concern arising from this new employment program is the quality and caliber of personnel being deployed to serve under the various modules. 3 months of training to equip beneficiaries for the job market. How efficient and effective has this been in preparing the beneficiary? I am joined in studios by one of such beneficiaries, Kojo Buedu, to share some experiences with us. And Kojo is in the enterprise module. Great to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
In the first place, what is the enterprise module, the one that you applied for?
The one that I applied for is actually in respect of the one district, one village, one district, one factory, one village, one dump, where there will be match workers of. Where there will be match workers, they would employ the enterprise model to go fix into the model to help support that.
Okay. So this is a case where you are being trained and being equipped to sort of be a business owner.
Yeah.
That's great. What kind of training did you go through as you started the application process? Was your capacity built in any way? Yeah,
there was a capacity building training where we were being taught how to, speak with our bosses, how to handle our customer cares, relationship with our customers, and also how to handle our business relationship as well, which it shouldn't be much of something that would go out of the office. It should be within the confidence of the office.
So do you know what specifically you will be doing under this module?
Under this module, I think I will be doing most of the enterprise, which would include the one district, one factory office. That's what I think I may be posted to.
Okay, so you've been informed that you guys will be posted, but your postings haven't come yet?
Yeah, our postings are not yet in.
Okay. Kojo, thanks a lot, but some controversy came up where we heard of some audios of some NAPCO personnel being asked to pay some monies as transportation to the event grounds this morning. Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not aware of any of that sort. But I don't think any of the NAPCO officials will do that as well.
Okay, so now you're going into a new environment. What are your fears and expectations as you go in?
For my expectations, I would say I would want to be more successful in that organization. I would also want to help build the organization up in terms of putting most of the infrastructure that I may be capable of being able to do.
After these 3 years, what's your plan?
After these 3 years, I hope to set up an IT firm. I'm an IT specialist who also hopes to set up an IT firm in any of the world, anywhere in the country, including the world as well.
Okay, so how is NAPCO going to help you do that?
With NAPCO is helping me by giving me enough training on how to handle my customers when they come in. I shouldn't be rude to my customers as well. That was what I have learned on the training. I should also be respect whatever the customers should also take much respect of it. And then my last one is which I learned about a few days ago, which is I should also be much more flexible with in terms of the pricing. I should be much flexible with it.
Thank you very much, Kojo Buedu, for joining us. He is a new recruit in the Nation Builders Corps. He is in the enterprise module. We're staying with this story because the Nation Builders Corps Secretariat has issued a disclaimer to distance themselves from reported widespread extortion of money from newly engaged personnel. Some recruits had told Love News Some coordinators in the Ashanti region were collecting up to 100 Ghana cedis from them, supposedly for transportation to Accra for the launch of the program. Love FM's Anasen Sumenta has more in this report.
At Ejiso Municipal, for instance, coordinators took the money together with engagement letters under the pretext of a final registration and placement in Accra. Trainees who are unable to pay the 100 cedis are made to pay less, some as low as 10 Ghana cedis. Some trainees spoke to Love News on condition of anonymity.
What is happening in the Ejiso right now is that they are asking each NAPCO personnel to make a payment of 20 Ghana cedis. That is for those who will not be able to go for the personal ceremony. And then those who will be going to pay 50 cedis. We suspect that something fishy might be going on because it is not something that every NAPCO personnel has received a message in that regard.
My concern is the inconvenience in traveling from, let's say, someone from Boko, someone from Navrongo, traveling all the way from Navrongo to Accra just for a personal ceremony or just an inauguration. Look at the duration. The person will travel from Boko to Accra, the risk involved and other things. And looking at our situation, we are service personnel who just passed out from national service. We are not working. So where do we get to raise this amount to just travel and go to Accra just to watch or observe an inaugural ceremony? We just don't understand. And per what we are hearing from other districts too, some are paying 50 cedis. It's compulsory. If you travel, if you not travel, you have to pay the money.
NAPCO Secretariat has since issued disclaimer distancing itself from the alleged extortion. Here is what Regional Head of Monitoring and Evaluation, Dennis Kwakwa, told us.
Let me state emphatically that NAPCO has not charged anybody a peso. From the beginning to date, everything under NAPCO that has so far happened in the history of this country has been started from their registration process. That was an online process. It was free. Nobody purchased even a scratch card at 1 cedi cost. Government itself paid a lot of people to conduct interviews in 154 districts of this country. Even today, the attire that trainees are expected to wear for this occasion is still free.
The Ejiso Municipal Chief Executive, Beatrice Sawadechi, said she was unaware of the alleged extortion. For Joy News, Nana Asensumensa.
Still watching Joy News today. I am Daniel Daze. Stay with us because we'll continue the conversation about jobs. We're taking you to the Ayensu starch factory, which remains closed for 8 good months due to huge debts owed to the electricity company of Ghana. That's on Joy News Agenda with Maxwell Agbagba. Stay with us. We'll be with you shortly. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Ayensu Starch Company, established in 2002 by President Kufuor, remains closed for the past 8 months. Since its establishment, the starch-producing company has shut down many times over faulty processing machines. Some farmers who used to supply cassava to the company say they are facing serious financial difficulties after it stopped operating. Its electricity and water have been disconnected due to its inability to pay. For Joy News Agenda today, Maxwell Agbagba traveled to the central region town of Bojase, where the factory is located, and now reports.
I am in a vehicle going to the Ayensu Starch Company. The roads leading to the starch factory are in a deplorable state. Some women are peeling cassava by the side of the road. They used to have a ready market for their cassava, but the situation has changed now. For over 8 months after the factory stopped operating, they have been compelled to only produce for the local market. We are currently here at the Ayensu starch factory. It's around midday, but not much of activity is happening around here. The workers who are in there will not allow us to go inside to see exactly what is happening. But we pick information from deep throat sources that they have not been working here since April, because a very important machine that is used in processing the starch here is not functional any longer. And this has been the case for many months. The main gates of the factory remain shut. My source at the company told me water and electricity supply have been disconnected as the factory reels under a 600,000 Ghana cedi debt. For 2 hours, I see some of the workers just idling. There's no work for them. I've now met one of them on his farm. He says workers of the company have not been engaged in any production since January 2018.
The factory used to function well until the NDC sold out some shares. For 8 months, no work has been done. They have disconnected our water, our electricity, and we have also been disconnected from the national grid. Since December, we have not done any production. We have huge problems here. We suffered before our 4 months salary arrears were paid, and now for 2 months we have not been paid. We want government to know the factory Kufuor provided has been left to deteriorate because work has stalled. Our young people are suffering. Plenty cassava have been left on the farms. We want government to take full control of the factory. Better still, government can give it out to a private investor who is serious about making profits.
I am on a motorbike heading to Ewutu Obrachre, where the farm of one of the many farmers who used to supply the Ayensu factory is. Joseph Tete says he extended his cassava farm because of the starch factory, but now he has been compelled to sell all on the local market at very cheap prices.
Because they are unable to buy the cassava, a lot of it remains. I sell it to the market women. I do not get money because they do not pay on time, always giving excuses. Some of them owe me about 3,000 cedis.
Around 30 million market tomo.
Since the processing machine became faulty, times have become difficult. A lot of the outgrowers are at home. The company owed me 6,400 cedis, but I was paid recently. We want government to take full control. We beg government to come to our aid because we are suffering. All of us cannot come to Accra in search of jobs. I do not have the skills for masonry or carpentry. I am a farmer. We are not making profits.
My source says they were informed the challenge with the processing plants will be fixed in March 2019, with full operations starting again in December 2019. He says the company was compelled to dispose of thousands of Ghana cedis of cassava they bought from the outgrowers. When I approached a member of the company's management with these facts, the person stated, quote, "The factory has not been closed. It is retooling just like any company to bring on board modern machinery," unquote. He said workers were still at post. On whether operations will start in December 2019, as our source had suggested, the management member said he's unable to speak to it. On whether the company was compelled to dispose of thousands of Ghana cedis worth of cassava because of their faulty processing machine, he said it was not relevant to the discussion. It remains to be seen whether the factory, which provided hope for over 1,000 farmers, will be revamped or left to rot. Maxwell Agbagba, Joy News.
Now, since the 2nd century, the newspaper has been a major source of news. From ancient Rome to China, it was mostly handwritten and often read by government officials. However, its place in the media is being challenged in the 21st century as modern technology finds expression in radio, television, and the internet. In the following report, Joy News' Joshua Smith finds out about what appears to be the fading era of the newspaper.
Kwame Chum, a vendor who has been in the newspaper business for 28 years at Kaneshi, tells Joy News the business used to be lucrative, and at a point, he had 15 workers. But times have changed.
I started in 1990, and I'm starting in Juma.
I started this business in 1990. My love for reading pushed me into this. The business used to be lucrative, and at a point, I had 15 workers who sold in traffic. But times have changed. The newspaper reviews on radio and television stations have driven customers by 5:30 a.m.
Yes, I remember because it by 5:30 the whole headlines in every. It will be our headline. I had also Baba to be. If you want that paper not on above from Sir Baby sister. But first, they now because I know my papa and my papa and this council.
Editor of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, Dave Agbenu, attributes the struggles of the print media to morning shows.
Struggle we go through to produce the newspaper is taken over by radio and TV in the morning. If you look at our landscape, 90 to 100% of morning show contents are taken from newspapers, newspaper headlines, and discussions go on from morning to about midday. And the shelf life of every newspaper is just about 2 hours. If you don't sell the newspaper between that 2 hours, you are done.
Today, it's easy to get news on the phone, and that's why many of the people we spoke to on the streets of Accra seem to believe there are more easily accessible sources of information than the newspaper.
Because of social media and the various apps like Twitter we have on our smartphones, I go there every morning to read the daily news and anything that borders on social issues. See, now you have to either get a vendor and then buy it from him. But if you have everything on phone that is easily accessible, I think most people will opt for that as compared to going by the roadside or going to see a vendor to buy a newspaper.
The need for human beings to educate themselves and to be abreast of issues that take place that necessarily surround their lives. So if you are not informed, if you are not educated about the realities of the day, maybe you may be shocked because there may be something that relates to your own development that you may not be aware of. So it will pass you by just through lack of seeking of information. The point is that currently we don't read like in the past people used to read because of an ever-increasing laziness on the part of students.
Dave Agbenu says owners of the print media houses have been in talks with the electronic media owners to deal with the problem, but very little success has been made.
Yes, we have. We have several times called a meeting with media owners, particularly radio and TV, but it has not yielded any results, and I don't foresee, because of the arguments they put up, I don't foresee in the near future what we can do together to share revenue from the usage of my content or our content. But I think that we must continue to talk, we must continue to discuss the issues, and let them know that we pump in a lot of revenue to produce the newspapers. And if they just pick them up as content for their morning shows, and they get, or the adverts are placed on the back of those morning shows, it's just fair for us to share the revenue, whatever it is.
Openichun pleads with television and radio stations to limit the contents shared during newspaper reviews.
because in your Jumano started free and up to so now the pay be at 5:30 no was starting now.
Our job starts at dawn. They should not disclose all contents during the early hours of the morning show. This when done will drive away buyers. I plead with them to start their newspaper reviews at 10 a.m. As agents, we have a huge number. We cannot afford to be affected. This is our source of livelihood.
Obi nkasa mo newspaper review but at least by 10 o'clock and up na kwa you bedu ono na omo so moto no matter na yan so ya bibia kwa ya busia.
Though distribution is a major issue for most print media houses, those who love it continue to read and get entertained, informed and educated. Joshua Smith's report for Joy News.
I'll inform Roland and Mama V of the AM show these concerns that have come up our newspapers. But let's talk about some other forms of business. Emmanuel Abuaji has the rest in the segment.